Lesson 137. You learned a sentence that tells you when they might reply. Everybody, say the sentence. Get ready. Perhaps they will reply in a few days. Everybody, what's the first word of the sentence? Perhaps. I'll say part of the sentence. When I stop, you say the next word. Listen. Perhaps they will. Everybody, what's the next word? Reply. See the whole sentence. Get ready. Perhaps they will reply in a few days. Give yourself 2 points. Find lesson 137. Touch column 1. Word 1 is English. What word? Spell English for me. Get ready. English is the name of the language that people speak in the United States. Everybody, what is the name of the language spoken in the United States? English. Word 2 is discover. What word? Spell discover. Get ready. The person who is the first to find something is the person who discovered that thing. The person who first found America was the person who discovered America. What's another way to describe the person who first found gold in Alaska? The person who discovered gold in Alaska. Word 3 is future. What word? Spell future. Get ready. Word 4 is brought. What word? Spell brought. Get ready. Word 5 is village. What word? Word 6 is defeat. What word? Let's read those words again the fast way. Word 1, what word? English. Word 2, what word? Discover. Word 3, what word? Future. Word 4, what word? Brought. Word 5, what word? Village. Word 6, what word? Defeat. Find column 2. All these words end with the letters ing. Word 1, what word? Trumpeting. A trumpeting sound is something that sounds like it comes from a musical instrument called a trumpet. Elephants make trumpeting sound. Word 2, what word? Snorting. Word 3, what word? Breathing. Word 4, what word? Closing. Word 5, what word? Crunching. Let's read those words the fast way. Word 1, what word? Trumpeting. Word 2, what word? Snorting. Word 3, what word? Breathing. Word 4, what word? Closing. Word 5, what word? Crunching. Find column 3. All these words have an ending. Word 1, what word? Tusk. Word 2, what word? Charged. When an animal charges, it puts its head down and runs at something as fast as it can go. Everybody, what do we call it when an animal runs at something as fast as it can? Charging. Word 3, what word? Ponies. Word 4, what word? Blink. Let's read those words again. Word 1, what word? Tusk. Word 2, what word? Charged. Word 3, what word? Ponies. Word 4, what word? Blink. Find column 4. Word 1, what word? Curved. Word 2, what word? Tigers. Word 3, what word? Spikes. Word 4, what word? Modern. Modern is the opposite of old-fashioned. What's the opposite of old-fashioned clothes? Modern clothes. What's the opposite of an old-fashioned movie? Modern movie. Word 5, what word? Spain. Spain is a country that is near Italy. Look at the map. Touch Spain. It's just west of Italy. Let's read those words the fast way. Word 1, what word? Curved. Word 2, what word? Tigers. Word 3, what word? Spikes. Word 4, what word? Modern. Word 5, what word? Spain. Give yourself 2 points. Find part B. You're going to read the next story about Eric and Tom. First, you read the information passage. It gives some facts about what it was like 40,000 years ago. Everybody, touch the title. Everybody, what's the title? Get ready. 40,000 years ago. Things look very different 40,000 years ago. There were no buildings or streets. The humans who lived then were a little different from the humans who live today. Some of them wore animal skins and lived in caves. Touch the human in the picture. That person was shorter than people who live today, but that person was very strong. Many kinds of animals that you see today were around 40,000 years ago, but some of the animals are from that time were different. The picture shows a saber-toothed tiger, a horse, a human, and a kind of elephant called a mammoth. The saber-toothed tiger had a short tail and teeth like spikes. Touch the tiger's teeth. Those teeth are longer than the teeth of tigers that live today. Touch the tiger's tail. That tail is shorter than the tiger tails of today. The horse was much smaller than the horses of today. The mammoth had long hair and long curved tusks. Elephants that live today have tusks, but not huge ones like the mammoth had. Also, the elephants that live today don't have long hair. Find part C. Everybody, touch the title. Everybody, what's the title? Get ready. Eric and Tom see cave people. The force was so great that Tom's ears began ringing. He had trouble breathing. He could not talk. Why was the force so much greater this time than it had been before? Get ready. You could say because they went further back in time, or you could say that the handle was almost all the way down. Give yourself 2 points if you said any of those answers. Then things inside the time machine looked brighter again. The dials and lights blinked and flashed. I hate to look outside, Eric said. His voice sounded funny. Tom rubbed his eyes. That handle went down almost all the way, Tom said. Eric stood up and the door opened. The air was cool, and the trees outside looked a little different from any Tom had ever seen. Eric and Tom stood outside the time machine for a few minutes. They looked in all directions, but they couldn't see any people. At first, they didn't see any animals either. But then they heard a terrible roar. A moment later, 3 very small horses charged down a hill. They were no bigger than ponies, but they looked different. The horses ran through the long grass. Another animal was running behind them. It was very fast, but not as tall as the horses. Tom could see it leaping through the tall grass, but he couldn't get a good look at it. Suddenly, the horses turned and ran downhill. The animal that had been chasing them stopped and stood on top of a mound. Now, Tom and Eric could see the animal clearly. Eric said, "Do you see what I see?" Tom didn't take his eyes from the animal. "Yes," he said. The animal had a short tail and two long teeth that stuck down like spikes. Tom said, "I think we've gone back about 40,000 years from our time. I think we're looking at a saber-toothed tiger." Now, everybody, how far back are they in now? Get ready. 40,000 years ago. What's the name of the animal that's standing on the mound? Get ready. A saber-toothed tiger. It has two teeth that stick down like spikes. Everybody touch them. What kind of tail does it have? Everybody get ready. A short tail. Give yourself 2 points. Tom said, "Those other animals were horses that lived 40,000 years ago." Just as Eric started to say something, a loud snorting noise came from the other side of the time machine. Make a loud snorting noise. It would sound like, give yourself 3 points if you made the noise. The boys turned around. The animal making the noise was a giant mammoth, an elephant with long fur and great tusks. Everybody, what's the name of the animal making the snorting noise? A mammoth. It held its trunk high in the air. Its eyes were bright and it didn't look friendly. "Let's get out of here," Tom said. The boys ducked inside the time machine. Tom ran to the seat and sat down. But just as the door was closing, the mammoth charged into it. It made a terrible crunching sound, and the door wouldn't close. What made the crunching sound? The mammoth charging into the time machine door. Give yourself 2 points. Why do you think the door wouldn't close? Because the mammoth had bent the door. The door was open about a foot. Everybody, show me how far the door was open. It's like, that's about a foot. The mammoth stuck its trunk through the open door and let out a great trumpeting sound. Make that noise. So the noise would be like, give yourself another 3 points if you made that sound. The mammoth suddenly backed up and began to run. Some humans were running down the hill. The humans were dressed in animal skins. They were shouting as they ran. Everybody, what was coming downhill? Humans. The mammoth ran downhill. "Let's get out of here," Tom said. The humans were coming closer to the time machine. They were about 50 yards away. They were shouting and growling. Tom had picked up a long branch. He was trying to bend the door so that it would close. Why was the door bent? Because the mammoth had hit it. Give yourself 1 point. Now, read the rest of the story to yourself. Find out if they closed the door. This is your time. I'm going to ask questions after. Everybody, did the boys close the door? No. How did they try to close it? By pushing it, right? And then by bending the bottom of it with a branch. Give yourself 2 points if you answered that question. Everybody, what did the men throw at the time machine? Rocks. Now, let me read the last part of the story to you. Close your eyes and get the picture of what's happening. The mammoth suddenly backed up and began to run. Some humans were running down the hill. The humans were dressed in animal skins. They were shouting as they ran. The mammoth ran downhill. Let's get out of here, Tom said. The humans were coming close to the time machine. They were about 50 yards away. They were shouting and growling. Tom had picked up a large branch. He was trying to bend the door so it would close. 2 men were running towards the door. Push on the door, Tom yelled. He was trying to bend the bottom of the door with the branch. The men were only a few yards from the door now. Tom could smell them. Push, Tom said. Push. Blump. One of the men had thrown a rock and hit the side of the time machine. Blump, blump, blump. More rocks. One of the men grabbed the door. Tom could see his face and teeth. More next time. All right, guys, yay! So we accumulated a total of 20 points for today's story. Now, what I want you to do is that I want you to go back to the story and reread the story all to yourselves before you do your individual work. I'll see you next time. Bye.